I do think that if we were to close any week above 442.45 over the next few weeks, let's say, that is a buy signal essentially through the rest of the year. 3 to 5 months later, 544.52 on the way up. The 498.83 December 25, still an all-time high, would be likely within 2 months, could be 3 to 5 weeks, so forth and so on. But until then, this is really the wedge that we're continuing to fill out by a degree, given the fact that we came off of this channel support a little over a week ago that is now 374.56 to 381.61. It is a channel resistance that we find presently at 430.32 as a 2 to 3 week likelihood. Holding above this 374.56 to 381.61 region will keep, because we tested the channel top at 430.32 in reach over the next 2 or 3 weeks, potentially all the way back up to that 442.45 level. So that is kind of the big picture. Now, whether we're going to see 442.45 anytime soon, I think comes down to still this extreme descending channel top that's been pretty sloppy earlier last week and continued south to form a weekly low on Thursday. Came back to close higher on the day. That in itself is a disruption of a 3-day bear trend. That's what I call a mini reversal, and it may be a setup now for upward continuation. I think a couple things here. 399.84 is that descending channel top. So if we open clearly below that on Monday, this is a sellable resistance still, allowing for a possible 381.61 on an intraday basis. 381.61 is a 5/8 downside Fibonacci that held beautifully about a week and a half ago, and it is really part of a range of support down to 374.56 that can continue to contain weekly selling pressures and quite possibly well into July, because from here we can round up to 430.32, which is really this trend line here or channel top. 402.52 is also Thursday's high, and if we close above 402.52, that is a full disruption of pattern that played out last week that completely reverses that, and should by Friday's close, I think it is quite possible 430.32 in reach. On the way up, if we open above 402.52, I think we're bullish right out of the gates, and yes, we could see 419.23 by the closing bell. I'm talking to 2 to 3 week swing traders now, selling upward retracements on a 2 to 3 week basis back into the 380s, and then you reverse and go long with a settlement above 442.45. Inside of that is kind of a no man's land, the downside. If we were later in the week to close below 374.56, that would set up 361.67, and this is probably the very next day. In terms of anticipating longer term bearish continuation, like a sell signal that could play out through the third quarter, that would be a settlement below 361.67. We're not there at all, and where we really are, smack dab in between 361.67 and 442.45, there's a lot of two-sided 2 to 3 week swing trade opportunities in here. In terms of the directional framework through July, it is congestive between these 2 points and becomes directional with a settlement outside of this zone. Please click like, share, subscribe.